What's going on, everybody? My name is Gamer, and today we're learning about the brief history of Choking Victim and Leftover Crack. Now, I might be asking, why am I including two bands in this video? Well, firstly, they are virtually the same band as they have almost the same members from the previous band, and secondly, both bands have the same writer, and I believe they also share the same exact messages as the previous band, so I'm putting the two bands together for this one, as it also gives me an extra excuse to use both their music together. Lastly, before we begin the video, I want to say that the actions and views in this video do not represent what the video creator believes in, and I am simply just reporting the history of the bands. The people in this video are scum of the earth and do not deserve sympathy due to their actions against people and how they treat significant others. With that out of the way, let's begin today's video.
That shit's good.
Choking Victim began in New York in 1992 with member Scott Sturgeon, aka Stza, on vocals and guitar, Stza Kyer on rhythm guitar, Sasha Dubrol on bass, and Skewer Gunn on drums. The band was together from 1992 to 1998, but didn't make music until 1998, only making music in one day before officially breaking up. This one recording session that they had was enough material to produce one album called No Gods, No Managers, which was released in 1999 under Hellcat Records. The album is rated highly among people, with most people giving it a 4 out of 5 on most review sites, and funnily enough, though some reviewers gave it a low or no ratings at all, one reviewer named Melody Maker had this to say about the album: "It sounds like 1,000 dung beetles gargling on their own shit," which I think is hilarious because they actually went defunct shortly after Leftover Crack formed. The songs on this album are interesting, for lack of a better word. Songs like Crack Rock Steady, 5 Finger Discount, and Money talk about smoking crack, shoplifting, and talking about how money corrupts. Other messages include killing cops, pro-squatting, being atheist, and not playing into the system that's set up by the government. My personal opinion on this album is that it's really sick. I spent a better part of last year listening to them. I always find myself listening to the same album over and over again. Mostly, my favorite song off the album is Crack Rock Steady, as I think it's actually one of the more rhythmic songs that also, like, just they make you feel good. It's about smoking crack. What more could you want from that?
I'm sick and tired and my money's always spent. I'm going to be killing me, their money pittering. Look your world, hey, I'll go to the seas. But when it comes to flowers, it becomes a if you went new, then you would feel blue. Paradise box, security in tow. It's your blood from the end of the window. I'm not in the secret, I'm crying in the shame. This is so upsetting, it's like a fucking game. Crack Rock City, are you ready to stop? The rotten blue men and the killers of God. Crack Rock City, are you ready? Living above the law.
After the breakup of Choking Victim, Stza went to form Leftover Crack, while Skewer and Stza formed NDK. But later in 2001, Stza would join Leftover Crack. Leftover Crack was largely more successful than Choking Victim, having released more records and still being active today. The band started as only having Stza in it, and he used that time to release songs that Choking Victim never released for one reason or another, and Stza also only did acoustic covers of their song up to that point. During that time, Stza also looked for band members, finally settling on Stza for vocals and guitar, Brad Logan on guitar, Alec Bawley on bass, Mike Trulyhill on guitar, and Amory Smith on drums. Now, with a full band, Leftover Crack finally made music and released various albums, notably during this time releasing Rock the 40 Ounce, which features cover art of the two shooters involved with the Columbine shooters, which only happened a year prior to this album's release. The album was released on Bankshot Records, and after recording some songs on Hellcat Records compilation album Give 'Em the Boo 2, they were signed onto Hellcat Records and told to release 3 albums on their label. The album is pretty good, and I don't really have a strong opinion on it, as there's only one true song on there, on that album, that it's good, and it's Stop the Insanity. Stop the Insanity was also later remastered, but it included people from the Distillers also singing with them. Now that Leftover Crack was signed onto another label, they literally began writing an album called Shoot the Kids at School. However, Hellcat promptly told them no because of the recent shooting at Columbine that occurred fairly recently. So, to take a jab at the label, they named the album Mediocre Generica, which Stza claimed wanted a mediocre generic album compared to the original name. The album is generic band cover with them performing, and the album is, ironically, pretty generic. Whether done on purpose or not, the album is boring and mostly filled with audio clips of shows, outros with piano samples, and the songs usually filled with interludes. Once again, I don't have a strong opinion on this album, but at the same time, it is one of their weaker albums.
From high upon your crucifix, you preach about my triple six, you spit about my this and that, and yank away your welcome mat. With a coup by Jesus Christ will save, so don't you Christians miss bad. Cause Santa makes a list of something that thing to say to see in a job, but when I disagree, you're ignorant slob. But don't become a day when you found out and the hateful replies will fill you without. You might be a skater, you might.
After having problems with Hellcat Records for their last album, Leftover Crack 2 years later would finally be dropped from them and began making music again. Their next album was being worked on but no label to publish it. However, underground legend at the time and ex-frontman of the dead Kennedys, Jello Barifa, approached them and had them release their next album on Alternative Tentacles. Their next album would be called Fuck World Trade and feature the art of George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, and Rudy Giuliani destroying the World Trade Center. This album was covered in controversy, obviously, and was banned from most retail stores like Best Buy, Walmart, and most music stores. The album is actually really good and actually one of my all-time favorite albums. If I had to recommend them, I would suggest this album. Some bangers on this track are Clear Channel, Gang Control, and One Dead Cop. While the album may be super controversial, I think it is one of Leftovers Crack, one of their strongest albums ever, and I really recommend giving it a try if you haven't listened to it. The band after 2004 would go on hiatus after drummer Brandon Possible died. The hiatus made Stza do acoustic covers of his own songs and go on tour around New York, and during the beginning, since choking victim, Stza would regularly use heroin and crack, defending it as a positive influence in his life, stating, "I would have killed myself during this time if not for the drugs, because I'm very lonely and suicidal." During the time of Leftover Crack, Stza would also date a chick called Whitney from a band called Days and Days, reportedly beating her physically and breaking her nose. And when she spoke out against this, she would be served defamation lawsuits, and Stza obviously denies these allegations, but with his constant drug use, it's hard to believe him and really take his side when there are so many people who believe that he would beat her, and truthfully, I think he did. The band continues to make music, but because of Stza's allegations made against him, members have left the band. However, Stza has managed to get members to record another album coming out later this year. The band has been infamous because of Stza, and while their music is good, I believe in separating music from the artist. And while their music is good, Stza is not a good person and does not deserve any sympathy whatsoever. Stza squats in Manhattan and uses any money he gets and funnels into his drug habits and only lives in today and not for tomorrow. Their music was, and still is, important for the scene, and I believe without it, the existence of crack rock city being a significant punk genre would not be here. Anyways, my name is the Ska Punk Gamer, and if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like and consider subscribing as it helps out the channel a lot. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you guys in another video. Goodbye, everybody.